Well, I've just put out a new book about dowsing. I titled the book Dowsing the Weird Web in Moravia. It's now available on Amazon. And last weekend, when I went out dowsing, this was on my mind. And as I dowsed, I discovered several examples of the kind of things that I discuss in the book. Basically, things that seem to suggest that we, as a species, know that these lines are there. Why else would we build roadside crosses, castles, chapels, that sort of thing, upon these lines? So here are some examples to support the book. Please do share, like, and subscribe. It helps me a great deal. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. So I'm just dowsing around Pusti-Miej. There's lots of lines and I'm just trying to figure out where they all go after I leave the village. And the way I'm doing that is walking all the walks and roads and really trying to do a good job of filling in as many gaps as I can so I can track them. And I'm on a female line in the middle of a farmer's field, surrounded by farmer's field for at least 3 kilometers. And look, what on earth is a cross doing here on the female line in the middle of a farmer's field, surrounded by fields? Middle of nowhere. Incredible. Yet another example of how people know these lines are there. Just a few kilometers away, looking for the Templar line and another line nearby, I came across 2 more examples of the female line being marked by some kind of a monument or cross. While these were clearly by the roadside and could be related to all kinds of reasonings, why they're actually there, like a death on the road, that kind of thing, or a wayside shrine, still. So here we are on another female line, which may be Mokosh, actually, maybe the Templar. It says it is. If it is, it's not quite where I'd expect it, but then that's par for the course. And I'm just going to look up the road here and see if I can find the male line. But once again, it's marked by this religious icon on the side of the road. And a couple of kilometers further along the very same road, I found the other line that I was looking for, and the female line started at this point, marked again by a roadside cross. So again, here we are about another couple of kilometers away, another Type 4 line marked by yet another cross, another female Type 4 line marked by a roadside cross. It's amazing how many times these roadside icons actually mark a line. Towards the end of the day on the Sunday, I decided to wander a little bit further afield to a place called Schwabenitzer. I'd often seen this church high on a hill and wanted to investigate it further. And sure enough, I discovered that this church, St. Michael's, had a male Type 4 line passing through it. It has an associated cemetery and is on the top of a hill and is much more ancient site, going back to at least 1100 as a wooden church and chapel. It's plainly been replaced in the last couple of hundred years with this lovely church. And behind that, surprise, surprise, was another hill with an archaeological site with a little chapel dedicated to St. Mary built on it. And the male line, the positive line, passed through this, which was right next door to St. Michael's. And I thought, oh, yes, here we are. There's a node coming up because these lines are coming together pretty quickly. And there was also this building here, which has some rather interesting designs on it that intrigued me. But it was the chapel on the hill, St. Mary's, built on the site of an 11th, 10th century castle that has long since gone. The chapel is sited on the vortex of the 2 Type 4 lines, the male and the female, the positive and the negative. Has beautiful views. It was a beautiful afternoon. It was a great way to finish my weekend of dowsing and hiking. And as I sat there taking in the views and taking in the energies, unfortunately the chapel was locked so I couldn't actually get in it, but I could sit on that bench pretty close to the energy vortex and just take it all in, and think on what an amazing experience dowsing these lines has become for me. And it was then that I decided, okay, well, I will make a video because, again, here we have a church, a little chapel on top of an archaeological site of a castle that marks a vortex. So plainly, the placement of this chapel somehow happens to land on this vortex. And as I sat there contemplating this and making the video, talking into the camera, something rather miraculous happened. A feather from heaven. So what a good place to finish a weekend of dowsing in beautiful weather out by Pusti-Miege, which is a very energetic region with about 10 Type 4 lines almost coming together to node at the Slavic Rotunda at Pusti-Miege. Trying to follow those lines out away from Pusti-Miege, they bend around and kind of start to scatter. And one comes up past this church of St. Michael and nodes behind that church on this hill, which is plainly an archaeological site. I'll look it up when I get home. And this little chapel dedicated to Mary, I believe. So I'm sat by a node with a little chapel on top of a hill with marvellous views. Wonderful way to finish my weekend dowsing. And just listen to the silence, other than the bell. And a feather just fell from the sky right in front of me. I'm sure that you can tell from the expression on my face as that feather floated gently down with no bird flying above, how taken aback I was with the magic of the moment. I also discovered that there are actually quite a few feathers lying around this particular area, and then of course there were the butterflies fluttering around in the distance as well. Again, weird. The web of weird is real, magic, and part of everybody's lives.